Goku-san DBZ, and welcome back for a new top 5 criminally underrated list. This time, we are checking out the Xbox One. So let's get to it. We have 2 honorable mentions in total. First up is a smaller indie developed game. If you want over-the-top action combined with your football, here is a awesome game I highly recommend checking out. It's called Mutant Football League Dynasty Edition, which includes all the DLC and everything. If you remember crazy over-the-top action games like Blitz, then you might actually appreciate a game like this, which is completely bonkers over the top. And I do recommend more people give this game a shot. As see, it does have online play and everything. And if you don't want your stereotypical sports game approach, this is something to actually check out, and it is pretty affordable. Second honorable mention, a great overall action game I highly recommend checking out, as it takes place in the same universe as games like Control as well as Alan Wake. Quantum Break is a game that deserves way more love and attention than it actually gets. And frankly, the graphics look amazing given this was early into the Xbox One's life. And yeah, this, console-wise, is exclusively to Microsoft. But if you've never tried, you can get this game very cheap. I mean, you can easily find this within $10 range. I do recommend it. If you want a great, fun, crazy action game with great visuals, and I think actually an interesting story, check out Quantum Break. This game deserves way more love than it gets. Well, that's it. Coming in at number 5. If you're a fan of the Cthulhu mythos, this is a great game. Now, the only part I dislike about it is the crafting part. That's like a big part of the Sinking Sea, is crafting, gathering stuff. But I also like a lot of the creature designs. I think are actually really cool. It has some some pretty good visuals, given this was a relatively small developer, and there's been over time a lot of copyright issues between different groups involved. Luckily, the original creators managed to finally get control. But if you want a decent challenge with good survival stuff, as well as some great cosmic horror, this is definitely something to check out. If you are a fan of Cthulhu and other Lovecraftian style creatures, this is definitely a game I highly recommend checking out, The Sinking City, as it is very reasonably priced. You can find this a lot of times pre-owned section at GameStop and places. So, if you get a chance, definitely give it a shot. It is on multiple different consoles. Coming in at number 4 is a bit more family-friendly style fantasy adventure game, but still, I like some of the dragons, and I actually like this classic style artwork on the cover that kind of harkens back to, honestly, done earlier like Dungeons and Dragons art and stuff like that, which I actually really appreciate. If you've never tried Beast Quest, check it out. I originally picked this up brand new for like $5 on clearance. And yeah, it's rated 10 and up, but still, the action is good. I think it's pretty fun, honestly. It was done by a relatively younger company and a mid-range developer overall. You can tell it has a bigger budget than a lot of indie games, but still much smaller than others. Certain parts of the design of the world kind of reminds me of old school Fable for some reason. Just some of the designs and stuff. I think it's actually really cool. But if you get a chance, definitely check out Beast Quest. If you like classic fantasy style action adventure games, this might be something for you. Next, coming in at number 3, is a game that I'm surprised more people have not tried out. I get it. It was originally sold exclusively at GameStop as they were involved in the creation of this, but so was Insomniac Games. Of course, better nowadays known for the Spider-Man games. But Song of the Deep is a great, interesting sort of side-scrolling game, but done differently underwater and with a submarine. And it is for all ages. Very family friendly. If you're looking for a fun game for like kids to play besides adults, this is a great game that frankly I think all ages can really enjoy. As long as you don't mind it being a relatively small budget game overall, I think it still looks good and it plays solid in my opinion. But if you've never actually heard or checked out Song of the Deep, I do recommend giving this game a shot, as you can get it very cheap. I mean, you can find this easily under $10 no problem. So it's very good for people who prefer not to spend too much money on games or a game on a budget. This is definitely a good route to go. Or if you just want a unique, different style, like indie game experience, this is definitely something that might take care of that. Number 2, The Occupation. This game is really cool. It's a single player driven game. Basically, it's an investigating game where you're trying to discover stuff. It's all in first person viewpoint. I actually think where this game excels is in the storytelling. It's a really good game if you like puzzles or you like investigating mysteries and things of that nature. I would say this is definitely something to give a shot. It is very cheap. Graphically, I actually think it looks good as it was done on a pretty small budget. But like you see here, basically, it's a first-person game, fixed time, investigate, thriller set in Northwest England on the 24th October 1987. And yeah, I actually think like the places are actually beautiful, in my opinion, the backgrounds. Character models may not look the greatest, but the actual environments look great, in my opinion. If you've never played or even heard of this, give a shot. Yeah, you can beat this game in about like 4 or 5 hours. But keep in mind you can get cheap, and I think the story is what really helps this excel, in my personal opinion. Coming at number 1. Anybody who has played this game knows it's a blast and a lot of fun. If you're a fan of games like Jet Set Radio, aka Jet Run Radio, and Jet Set Radio Future, you will love this. This is made by the same people that worked on the Spider-Man games, Insomniac, and is console-wise exclusively only on Xbox One. The game is amazing. I personally only know one person ever that has actually played this. Very few people, anybody who has played this, always gives this game very high regard, remarks. The world is cool. It's a very bright and colorful post-apocalyptic world. And everybody are transformed into weird creatures of different kinds, zombies and other things. And it's all from a energy drink. Given the culture today obsessed with energy drinks and things, personally, I think that's actually relatively relevant. Also, the customized weapons in the game are awesome. You can shoot vinyls like, well, like, honestly, blade stars and stuff like that, which is cool, though that's a waste of good vinyls. But also, you can do, like, custom, like, devices that'll throw teddy bears that explode at the enemies. There's some really cool, unique, interesting things, as well as it's an open world. So if you like that type of stuff, like a sandbox that gives you a lot of freedom, it's actually really good and is a pretty decent size place you travel through. 2 different cities connected. It's really fun. It's a blast to play. If you want some with over the top cheese and you want some kind of brings back the feel of like Saturday morning craziness, cartoons of the A's and I's. Give this game a shot. The cel shaded art style is honestly awesome and gorgeous and has helped the game age very well. The actual gameplay is solid. I have nothing bad to say about Sunset Overdrive, but for me, that is arguably the most criminally underrated game on the Xbox One, as this game deserves way more love than it gets. But with that said, I'll see y'all next time. Stay safe out there.